Hello, my name is Freddie Johns, and the title of my speech is The Value of Community, a Call to Reconciliation. Today we live in tumultuous times, and I will begin my speech with a story of turmoil. John Perkins, a civil rights activist, born in 1930, fatherless, mother died at the age of 7, raised as a sharecropper, only a third grade education. In 1947, after the murder of his brother Clyde by a New Hebron, Mississippi police officer, and at a later time, Perkins experienced a beating by the New Hebron police office, New Hebron police, in the city jail. During that moment, he experienced a revelation that is really not explainable. But as the policeman was kicking and beating John Perkins, Perkins experienced a moment of enlightenment. He saw the fear behind the hatred in their eyes. And, and from that moment, he chose to be an agent of reconciliation for white and black America. John Perkins was recognized for 16 honorary degrees, doctorate degrees. He authored 17 books and served on the presidential task force of 5 U.S. presidents. My topic will cover the value of reconciliation, the motivational incentive for reconciliation, and the strategies of reconciliation. The value of reconciliation in community. I served in the U.S. Navy. During my service period, I began to experience racial tension within my helicopter combat squadron. I informed the squadron duty officer that the racial tensions would interfere with my job and our squadron effectiveness. Afterwards, he put together a committee that looked into the issue and for solutions. My squadron duty officer really understood that harmony and respectful mutuality in our squadron was beneficial for us all. What would motivate us to take the high road in our communities? To establish a posture of mutuality. Anthropologists noted that within the non-human primate culture of chimpanzees, male chimpanzees maintain social hierarchy, privilege, and order by the means of aggressive behavior. That is, behavior that threatened or harmed other chimpanzees. In contrast, the alpha female of the savanna bonobos use sexual activities to maintain order and privilege and hierarchy, which anthropologists call affiliate behavior that is generally cooperative. My emphasis with the savanna bonobos is not the sexual activities used to maintain order, but the traits of the female savanna bonobos leadership that emphasize mutual respect and harmony. There's an old saying that any dog can bite, and I have the belief that human beings overall have greater character qualities than non-human beings, our primate relatives. We have many stories of evolution, human beings, within social, cultural, scientific, and religion, that tells a story of evolution, growth of culture, transformance of culture from one level to the next in all many different areas. And it presents this question. If the savanna bonobos, our lower primate relatives, should have value mutuality, shouldn't we? Incentive for community reconciliation. Why is community essentially so important? Francis Moore Lapp defined community as a group of human beings bonded together through mutual benefits, cultural and biological affinities, social, logical, religious, political, and technology are all elements of communal benefits. So The earth is also communal. The earth has a communal relationship with the rivers and the lakes and the sky and the seas. Um, all are independently linked. Every aspect of creation is communal. What would be the core elements for us human beings? I believe the core element is identity. Identity is, who are you in your core? Who do you believe yourself to be? Who do you know yourself to be? And it's a fragile element that can only be established, I believe, and affirmed properly in a loving and affirming community. This is There's a term developed by Martin Huber, a German Jewish philosopher, labeled I thou. And this occurs when one individual mirrors himself, when then a relationship mirror each other in the relationship in their response to each other. When people respond to the other person get a glimpse of themselves. This is good in a community where there's mutual respect. So what the community that I'm in is dysfunctional? What kind of mirroring would I receive? That question raises the point of my speech. I cannot be mirrored properly in a dysfunctional community. Therefore, we all have the responsibility, whether we accept it or not, to embrace a frequency of mutuality within our communities so that proper mirroring can take place as it should, and people will grow and become who they're supposed to be. Strategies of reconciliation. The point that I made in my opening statement of John Perkins' beating experienced at the New Hebron jail was that he saw the fears in their eyes. Thus, my argument is that fear is a disruptor of community. The 19th century German philosopher G.W.F. Hegel stated, ideally, we should recognize each other mutually, but mutual recognition is unlikely for beings with weak egos. Hegel argued that weak egos, as a result of dysfunctional community, cannot offer mutual respect to another human being. Fear is a primary cause of communal dysfunction, but is not the only cause, but a major cause that prevents functional community from developing and striving. The challenge for each of us is to identify our own fears, seek to embrace and overcome them. In order to do this, we must make the choice to overcome our fears and be real, be honest with ourselves and with others that we can trust. Conclusion. When I was in the military, I had to serve with individuals who classified himself as an individual who classified himself as a bona fide redneck. He was opinionated and didn't hesitate to use racial slurs. In the beginning, we often had tenacious encounters, but over time, particularly because we were in an environment in which we were interdependently relying on each other for safety and our lives, we learned to listen and give respect to each other, and we became friends. And by the way, our squadron always had four A's. That's a military term for high marks. We all must be willing to make the choice to change our mindset for the sake of the many communities within our great nation. Each of us should be willing to render to every human being within the many different communities that we are part of mutual respect, integrated with compassion and kindness. To move from division and dysfunction that has gripped our nation to become our best is to be the best that each of us can be. Thank you.